What is going down, squad? How are we doing today? Hopefully, we're doing okay. I apologize for the tardiness. Uh, Lots of content, baby. It feels good. Feels good to get all the content out here. I mean, it's flowing right now. Absolute flowing with content. Lots to talk about. We got stuff from OTAs. I am going to bring in Instagram. So give me 1 second while you're waiting, which is not going to be a wait. Smash that like button if you haven't already. How excited are we to actually get some football today? Very, very excited. We're gonna do a rare YouTube and Instagram crossover live these today. Plenty to update. We heard from the players for the first time this year. We heard from Kittle. We heard from Ward. We heard from Trey. We heard from Coach. We heard from a lot of people. Absolutely wild day. Plenty of stuff happening in the 49ers land with uh, all the content coming out from OTAs. Absolutely fantastic. We finally got some football to talk about, and we're going to keep it football. And of course, there's some things going on right now, and we're just going to continue to use this as our escape away from that type of stuff. And of course, condolences to everyone who's been affected by that. But let's keep it football and keep it moving and talk about some of the things that are going on right with the San Francisco 49ers. And right now with the San Francisco 49ers, uh, it's it was interesting listening to everyone, the players talk today, because based on everything that we were able to watch and observe of the San Francisco 49ers, felt a little spicy today, uh, collectively. Whether it was the coach, Kyle Shanahan, all the way through. And we all know we've been a part of the same offseason. We understand the talking points that have led up to this camp. We understand everything that has transpired and rolled into this camp of OTAs. So I wasn't surprised necessarily, but it was interesting to see. But based on everything that we've seen from on the field of OTAs, uh, not a lot of starting offensive linemen. Alex Mack is apparently traveling. We still are waiting to see if he will retire or not. Um, that still remains to be seen. Of course, we want Alex back, but we'll see. Daniel Brunskill didn't practice today due to knee tendonitis. So he's been out for a little while. Of course, no Trent Williams, no McGlinchey. So basically, the four remaining starters of the offensive line were not there today, but we got some guy, and this is what the starting offensive line looked like. It was Colton McKivitz at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard, Jake Brendel at center, Jalen Moore at right guard, which from all accounts is his new position. And then we had Justin School at right tackle. And that was the starting offensive line for the 49ers today. Quite a difference from what we've seen in the past. Obviously, a lot of the starters are either out or off to the side right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that group continues to grow and continues to evolve, especially with the 49ers. Obviously, we got some clips to come out of it across Twitter, across the internet. We were able to get to see Trey Lance. We were able to get to see a lot of the new players. So that was pretty cool to see. A lot of focus has went to Trey Lance, the mechanics, what he's, adjusted to from time away. And just as we've expected, Trey Lance talked about just growing, essentially being in his first year in the league, just not knowing all the things, going through an entire year, and now being able to kind of head into this new season already understanding that. I thought one of the most impactful things that Trey Lance talked about today while speaking to the media was how severe the finger injury was in regards to, I think it was like a whatever, I don't know the exact name in which he specifically addressed the index finger injury, but he did mention that it was something that plagued him for the entire year, to the point where he couldn't straighten it for the majority of the year. So when we saw Trey Lance week 4 play a half of football against the Seattle Seahawks, if you guys remember that, he couldn't straighten his index finger, which he said affected the way he held the ball, gripped the ball, threw the football. So that's pretty impactful. I imagine for a quarterback who throws a football for a living, that will have quite the impact on how he throws the football. So that was interesting to hear. And he went on to mention that it's healed up, everything's looking good, and he's ready to go in the right direction in regards of health and things like that. So that was good to hear from Trey. Uh, we got to hear from Jimmy Ward. It was fun to hear from Jimmy Ward as always. Jimmy stays talking that that mess, and I love that about him. I think we all love that about him. And I love that, hearing a little bit of insight to Trey Lance and Jimmy Ward's dynamic. If you've been a competitor, you've played in that type of realm, talking mess is a part of it. A bunch of competitors. Again, Trey's playing against Jimmy. Jimmy wants to push Trey to be better, and likewise, vice versa. So it's kind of fun to hear those guys talking about those types of things. Of course, Ward is so candid with the things that he says. It's always refreshing to be able to hear a player just speak openly and just let it loose. And I think that's why we all respect Ward, not only for his play on the field, but for, again, just how he communicates with us. He's a real one, and he keeps it straight. He shoots it straight, and he gives us insight. Uh, he gives us insight that we've never seen before. Someone say my beard's getting a question. Someone said, "Is your beard going to be a force to be reckoned with this year?" This ginger beard is a force to be reckoned with all the time. So you guys know that by now. This ginger beard is quite the force and will be something to be reckoned with this year. But ultimately, we got so much stuff today. It's almost a little bit overwhelming with how much little sound bites, nuggets, all the things that we got. Um, the Debo news is, well, like we heard from Brandon Ayuk today. Brandon Ayuk said he called Debo today. Obviously, they're not going to divulge, anything they're talking about, or nothing like that. And of course, Kyle provided insight that he's hopeful that something gets done, and you know everything everything gets worked out. But that's, I think, a situation that we will remain to just monitor and just keep an eye on. I don't think we should be able to necessarily expect Debo Samuel at OTAs at all, or mandatory minicamp. It will be interesting to see if he is available and they get a deal done by training camp. So that feels like where the target is right now. But ultimately, I think that is going to continue to be a work in progress. We'll see if everything gets ironed out, and ultimately 49ers get Debo signed and Debo's back with the team. Obviously, we all know that's something that we want. Debo Samuel is we get it. Like, he was one of the best players on the entire team last year, if not in the entire league. He proved to be able to do a lot of things, especially when the 49ers needed it, stepping in. to be able to uh, do a ton of things. The 49ers were just, with all the injuries and the running back, being able to do all that kind of stuff. Absolutely huge. Shout out Moneymaker. Appreciate you, my boy, dropping the $20 super chat. Thank you, my guy. He says, finally get to catch the SDS King live. Keep bringing the latest and greatest. Shout out Money Marcus. I haven't seen you in a while, my guy. Good to see you around here. Appreciate the super chat as always. Really, really do appreciate that. Shout out all my people. We're doing Instagram and YouTube today, a little bit differently. Justin says Jack Hammer talked about how Trey mainly targeted running backs and tight ends today. I asked him if there was a Jordan Mason sighting, and he said yes, which is a good development. I think we've talked about that with them adding Anthony Lynn to the coaching staff. I think one of the things when we look at Anthony Lynn and his history with running backs is they get a lot of receptions out of the backfield. We're talking 50, 60 receptions on a season. And typically the 49ers aren't high in receptions in that regard historically under Kyle Shanahan. So what is interesting to see is if that will be an added wrinkle, and that's part of, Kyle's new coaching staff, bringing in Anthony Lynn to coach running backs. You got guys like Brian Greasy who are coaching quarterbacks. You got new wide receiver coach and Leonard Hankerson. I thought it was really cool the way Brandon Ayuk talked about Leonard Hankerson. Obviously, it's well documented some of the struggles that Brandon Ayuk had last year, and I thought it was awesome to hear him talk about yeah, detail in two places. I thought it was cool to listen to Brandon Ayuk talk about his connection with Leonard Hankerson and just talking about how there's a real connection there and there's a lot to like. And so obviously when you get a new coach, you never know how it's going to be. So that was really cool. And speaking of new coaching, George Kittle also has a new tight end coach. And what I thought was really cool about what George had said specifically was that the new tight end coach, who's actually been in the room for 3 years, I believe. I think he was formerly quality control. I could be misspeaking, but he was in the tight end room for a couple years specifically prior to being promoted to the tight end coach. But what I thought was really cool is that he said that the new tight end coach flew out to Tennessee in the offseason so that they could link and they could go over like expectations, because what you have to love about George Kittle, not only about his obvious play on the field, not just the mentality that he has, not just like those types of things, but he's a true leader. And when he talks about the tight end room, he talks about it as if it's his room, and rightfully so. So he's always taken that ownership of the tight ends. Almost, he's like a player's coach. I mean, that's the way I view Kittle. That's the way, like, I mean, he does so many more things than just walking out there and playing the tight end position. Again, you can go back to last training camp. Last training camp, who was out there? Who was the first group on the field every day before training camp practice started? It was George Kittle leading out the tight ends to go do blocking drills on the bags. And that was what, 20 minutes before practice started. And it was like clockwork every day at training camp. That's what he's doing. It was Kittle's group out there working on blocking. It's not the tight ends working on catching, not working on any of that, those types of things. It was blocking. And so Kittle talked about it too. There's a lot of competition in that room now. So a lot of competition coming. A lot of competition coming for those tight ends. Obviously, George Kittle is a lock. George's not going anywhere. Um, I actually think Charlie Warner did a phenomenal job of earning his spot last year, and I thought he did a. I thought Charlie Warner did a phenomenal job. Of course, you guys know me. I'm a blocking connoisseur, a run game savant. So it was really good to see. It was good to watch the maturation process of Charlie Warner throughout the year, and then obviously Ross Dwelly and Kittle talked about Ross Dwelly today too, and talked about Ross Dwelly's just ability to catch. I mean, I don't think we could ever question Ross Dwelly's ability to catch. I mean, I feel like you throw the football to Ross Dwelly and it's peanut butter Dwelly time. But I think where Dwelly kind of took a step back last year was kind of in the blocking portion of playing the tight end position, which we know is critical in Kyle's scheme, especially when they run two tight end sets. Those tight ends might have to rename the tight end position Kittle pretty soon. But to be honest, the way they put the emphasis on the tight end position in the run game, not only on the tight ends but the fullback. I mean, they just are the focal point of the run game, and if they aren't making their blocks at the point of attack, it's really difficult for the play to develop because typically they are the main guys to be able to set the edges and do all those types of things. Uh, so that was cool. What else? What else did we get? Uh, I did. Okay, I want to ask you guys. I want to ask you guys as we get a ton of bots in the chat. You're gone. Um, how did you guys feel about Kyle Shanahan's demeanor today? Was Kyle a little spicy today? Like more than normal? I felt like Kyle's a little spicy today. Shout out Kyle, rocking the new Shanahan. I don't know if you guys saw it. Shout out residency. We got a new Shanahan alert. Uh, he's rocking the new residency, but he was spicy today, right? He was he was spice. He was spice today. Like literally didn't want to talk to no one, which I can respect and understand. Because to be honest, if I had to deal with the offseason noise the San Francisco 49ers have been through this year, whether it's national media, people like me talking about the team or whoever, it could I could totally see how it would wear on you. So it didn't feel like too he felt uh he was upset, but again, rightfully so. But it felt like that from the whole group. Felt like the whole group was a little spicy today. Uh, this is the most I tweeted it earlier, but it just felt like watching everyone talk. It was the spiciest I've seen the whole group. But what does that mean for the actual football element of it? Hell, if you can transfer that spiciness to the field, sign me up. If that's how if that's how they're gonna act like in between the white lines, let's go. Like let's go. Like they it's you got Trey Lance talking about again all the reports that we've been hearing about. Of course, he does such a good job of being able to kind of bring you in a little bit, but while keeping you a step away and being respectful, but letting you know. So with Trey, like he commented on all the noise. He commented on all the things that you're hearing around the league about him and what his abilities are or lack thereof, or all the issues and the things like that. And I love the respectfully. I don't care. Respectfully, just don't really care. And I love that because you got to be like that. At a certain point, you got to protect your own energy. And a guy like Trey, when he's in the position that he's in, kind of in this transitionary, going from Jimmy to him, It's still not like crystal clear because obviously Jimmy G's still on the roster, but we assume that Jimmy will eventually be off the roster. We don't know. But it's kind of a weird transitionary period. So that could affect your energy. And not only that, you have people just talking down on you constantly. And I felt like he did a really good job of answering that question. And being able to just bring some like realism to it, but again, respectfully, uh, essentially call them clowns, which I'm okay with. I'm absolutely okay with. And again, there's always room for critique. Not one of these players is perfect. Like again, you guys know how I hold up Trent Williams, I hold up George Kittle, I hold up, Nick Bosa, and these types of guys. They're not perfect. Everyone has something that they can improve on. They have something that they could correct game in and game out. They can correct assignments. They can correct technique. It's just how it is. That's football. Um, but of course, we understand there's just this nagging narrative about Trey Lance and all that kind of stuff. Let's see what I saw Kevin with a question. Kevin said, Brad, thoughts on BA mentioning he talks to Debo often, as he should. I mean, I think I would imagine that Debo and Brandon Ayuk are homies. They're wide receivers. They share the same room. You're with those guys a lot. I think I can't totally speak for the NFL. I can only speak through the football that I played and that I've experienced. But, for the most part, defense and offense they're pretty separate from each other. They'll come together for team periods and things like that. And obviously they have their lockers all intertwined. But I think for the most part, I mean, you kind of click up uh unintentionally, like with your position groups. So like, I hung out with a lot of offensive linemen and guys like that when I was playing back in the day. And it was kind of, wide receivers would hang out, wide receivers, quarterbacks would hang out, stuff like that. So the fact that Ayuk mentioned that he talks to Debo often, I don't think that's a bad thing. I would say that's a good thing. I did think it was funny. Uh, I did think it was funny that George Kittle said Jimmy still hasn't texted him back. I thought that was pretty funny, and he was just like, "That's just how it is." And you know what? I think that was the first time like I could ever like resonate with Jimmy a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I got a lot of things going with all the social medias and everything. Get a lot of DMs, a lot of messages, a lot of group chats, a lot of that stuff. It's really easy for my ADHD brain to just be like, I'm getting too many messages and like my brain can't wrap my mind around it. And sometimes I'm really bad at responding and I take full ownership of that. It's something that I need to work on and I'm trying to work on. But it was like when George said it, I was like, man, that's what my friends must feel like. And I was so if any of you guys have messaged me and I've stopped responding like halfway through our conversation, I apologize. I'm very sorry. It's not you, it's me. So, but I thought it was funny because I was like, oh, I could kind of see it from the other side for once. But it was kind of funny, man. But there's so much stuff to come out from today. So obviously, lots of questions to the offensive line. Javon Kinlaw, Mike McGlinchey are expected to be ready to go for training camp. So that's a good sign. I think that's a phenomenal sign. I think it's huge for those two. From all accounts, Javon Kinlaw is looking good. Hey, we talked to Javon Kinlaw this offseason. He was very gracious with his time and gave us a super solid interview. I think Javon's ready to go. Like, we'll always have to see, Like, we'll always have to see it actually happen on the field, and we'll have to see those things. But Kinlaw's ready, bro. Like, just look like he'd be chirping people in my comments section. Like, he's ready. Like, he's ready to hit someone. And I like that. I like that this massive human being who is feeling the most healthy, at least that's what he told me, is feeling the most healthy that he's ever felt based on them going in and finding the issue, correcting it, finally reconstructing it. Again, you guys remember he told me, he's like, I've moved in way I can move my knee like I've never been able to move before. Like I'm doing things, I have mobility, I'm able to, like, even not even 100% yet, even not at 100%, I'm still able to do things that I couldn't do when I wasn't theoretically dealing with an injury. You know what I mean? So it's like that's a good sign, dude. And on top of that, Javon, yeah, you know our fan base. We can get a little spicy. Our fan base can get a little spicy when they want to see someone perform, right? You draft someone high, you want to see them out there, you want to see the fruits of the draft selection. And guess what? Our fan base can be impatient. Hey, we're a demanding fan base. We'll love you when you do really well, but if you're not available, guess what? They're gonna let you know too. Uh, but I think Javon's built in a very specific way that he's he's gonna be feeding off. I feel like he's been feeding off that for a good portion now. And now that he's feeling healthy, I think he knows. I think mentally and physically, Javon Kinlaw is in a good place. So when I see him chirping, I feel like he knows what's coming. Like he's just sitting back. And we've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with Javon. He's just sitting back. He's like, I was trying to be like, oh, we should tell the world. And he's like, no. Just let them talk and they will see for themselves. And I was like, oh, I was like, I like that. I like that a lot. So Javon, really excited about that. I see a lot of people mentioning it. I saw the tweet from Grant Cohn. Apparently, Grant Cohn and Javon Kinlaw got into it today in some sense. I don't know the context. I just saw the tweet from Grant that he put out today. If you have any interest, go look at Grant and see what he tweeted. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but that's what I'm saying, though. I think Javon's he's ready. He's ready. That's a storm brewing in a big man who's got a lot to prove. And I think he's ready to prove it. So I'm excited for Javon. Again, he was a guy that I was expecting to break. There's a video. Oh goodness, there's a video of it happening. No way. He hit his hat. Oh, there's a video. Oh, so it got spicy. See, I'm telling you, man. This team, this team is spicy right now. This team's spice right now. It's on his all right. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna have to check that out. I didn't know that. Oh, so he like straight up hit his oh boy. Spice. See, that's exactly how I want my defensive lineman. I mean, I wouldn't want him to do that to me. My goodness. Javon is I've talked about it before. He's probably one of the most intimidating guys like I've ever seen. Like he just like he's got that look like he wants to just what? What'd you say? He said I'm You'll just like one little swipe and you're done. Javon's a beast, and that's why I'm so excited to get that energy onto that defensive line because let's face it, you need some dogs, man. You need some dogs on that defensive line. You need some of those dogs hunting, getting after it. Uh, guess what? He's been hearing a lot of it. He's been hearing a lot of talk. I guarantee you it's weighing, and he's ready to show out. He's ready to show out. So apparently, uh, apparently the barbarian. I mean, what a name, right? What a name. Kinlaw the Barbarian is doing Kinlaw the Barbarian things. Uh, what a surprise. What a surprise. The Barbarian is doing barbarian like things. God, I love it. I'm going to have to go check out that video. I'm going to have to go check out that video that I did not know existed. So we'll have to take a look at that. That's going to be a fun one. Let's see. Kyle Shanahan made an Elite Waterboy movie reference today. Let's see. What else did we get? We talked about the Trey Lance finger injury. He did say it's 100% now and can fully straighten it. So that's good. Definitely want the finger on your throwing hand to be able to be straightened and fully mobile. So that's a good thing. George Kittle, very big news. New hand tat, spicy hand tat. Hobbs from Calvin and Hobbs, legendary, legendary. Let's see what else. Kittle was spicy today. I like that as well because we don't see Kittle's super spicy. I feel like we could get a little like character archetype shift with Kittle. Like it's been fascinating watching Kittle evolve through these years. Um, going from like the happy go lucky, like just happy to be here, fifth round prospect. Again, he talks about it all the time. He showed up to training camp or not training camp. I think he graduated. I think he said like he was 180 pounds, like 6'1", a buck 80. Graduated a senior in high school. Like if you're graduating senior in high school, like 6'1", a buck 80. I think he played safe. He said he played safety at the time. But it's been so fun to watch the like character like development because I think he's very comfortable, obviously very comfortable with himself. And he just he doesn't got time anymore. He doesn't got time. No one's got time anymore. I think that's the key here with the 49ers, with the kind of tone and the way everyone spoke today was just like, you know what? You're gonna ask us 4 million questions about Trey Lance that we've all answered a million times. Um, and you're going to disregard the things that we say, or you're going to take something that we said and you're going to twist it. So I just feel like they're over it to a certain extent, but of course it's a function of their obligations to do so. But anyways, spicy group today, but I like it. Let's see. Brandon Ayuk also went on to say, really liked what he saw from Danny Gray. Danny Gray, he said he can fly, quote, he can fly, and he likes it. So that was good to see. It's a good vote of confidence from Brandon Ayuk, who right now is going to be one of the veterans in the room for the wide receivers. So that was really cool to see. Obviously, we did a little live breakdown of some of the clips that were coming out earlier. But for what we can see, and we did a comparison. I pulled up I pulled up a clip of Trey Lance doing a drop back pass at North Dakota State, and we watched it. We broke it down. We broke down his mechanics, and then we compared it to today and what we saw today. And again, like it's not like apples to apples. It's not like, the content is one random clip from North Dakota and it was one warm up rep, from OTAs. So you got to be able to take it with a grain of salt. But I think overall, um, wasn't bad. Like you could see, uh, you could see some of the changes in regards to the mechanics. Again, uh, Kittle said he noticed a big difference in him and his ability and those types of things. Um, so, I mean, I again, I'm just happy to have football back. I'm just happy to have football back. It was good to see um, all the guys out there on the practice field today. Good to see those gold helmets, those red jerseys, white jerseys on the green grass. Just really nice to see, man. Just it's it's so nice to be able to talk about football again, talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Again, we're still dealing with like the residuals of, being asked about all the offseason stuff and noise. But again, I just can't wait to see this team play. I just can't wait to see football. I think that's going to be one of the just I think we're all kind of in that same boat. I think we all in off-season fatigue mode currently. Uh Lots of off-season fatigue, but I'm just excited to see what this group does. I think it's up for interpretation what they do because I don't know if they know like 100% like who they are as a group, what they're doing. You have new coaching staff all across the offense. Kyle Shanahan talked about that today. He talked about like what it was like not having Mike McDaniel. Um, Again, I've mentioned it a couple times, just how it's been an under discussed talking point about the coaching changes. And of course, Mike McDaniel being like one of the primary ones. Because if you don't know, kind of, at least from my understanding of Mike McDaniel's ascension to now head coach of the Miami Dolphins, it all started as was he like a quality control or like offensive assistant or whatever he was, but just like really like kind of lower level. Did a lot of things for Kyle from a day to day planning, day to day, a lot of day to day things that he probably didn't even think about anymore. Which then he talked about today. He was like, he'd been with him so long. He was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that I have to reteach these guys not to do it this way uh, because of the fact that Mike McDaniel used to do it, and he learned that 7 years ago, and we addressed it 7 years ago, and we didn't really have to talk about it." From that regard, or have to like relearn it. He has to like remind himself, like, oh yeah, I got a whole new staff of offensive coaches for the most part. Um, Still got Forster, the offensive line coach, who I believe is now the new run game coordinator. Um, but I think for the most part, there's a lot of change coming to that offense. A lot of change. Offensive line looks a lot different. Offensive line looks like obviously insanely different. They didn't have one returning starter out on the field today, but again, it's just OTAs. So we aren't going to overreact to it. Um, we aren't going to overreact to it, but it is interesting. It is interesting to see everything, how it's been put together, and just makes me that much more excited for training camp. I just want training camp to be now. Now it's like we're in the middle of OTAs and I'm ready for training camp. I'm ready for some live bullets to be flying. I'm ready for the pads to be popping. I'm ready for just football. I'm ready for football. So hopefully we'll get there sooner or later. Uh, why don't you have a drunken Miller jersey hanging? How dare I? How dare I? I finally got the rice though. We got that squared away. So that's good to know. Finally got the rice squared away. So that's been figured out. Thank goodness. So I can now at least talk about the 49ers in some sense. But hey, it is what it is. It's been a wild day, though. I will say, man, we got content. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. Wait, I don't think they have practice tomorrow. I think they get the day off tomorrow, and then they will be back on Thursday. So I think they get the day off tomorrow. Um, all kinds, all kinds of developments, all kinds of stuff going on. Um, Warriors are up today. Gotta love it. Gotta love the Warriors going for the sweep. Hopefully they can get it done. Shout out the Warriors. Go Dubs. Go Dubs. Go Dubs. I'm sorry if we have some Laker apologists in here. We apologize to the Laker apologists in here. But it's Dubs time, baby. So excited to see Steph go crazy. Little Wiggy. Get a little playoff loon action. Excited. Good time to be a Bay Area sports fan. I know not everyone here is from the Bay Area, but just thought I should mention. What else you guys want to talk about? I'm not apologizing to Lakers fans. Let's make that clear. We we don't apologize to Lakers fans. I'm speaking to you, Detail. Speaking to you, Detail. What's good, Ata? We see you, boy. Whining and dining in Oregon, my guy. We see you. We see you. Can't forget the pool party. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Talk about how the Jets are still gonna suck. I don't know, dude. I don't necessarily think they're gonna suck. I think they upgraded their offensive line. I think they upgraded their running back room. I think they upgraded their wide receivers, and they have a second-year quarterback. So I can't necessarily say the Jets are going to suck. I don't know if they're going to be like a playoff caliber team, but I don't think they're going to be terrible. I actually think the Jets could be okay. Someone had asked how was Trey Lance doing at OTAs. From everything I've heard, he was good. I wasn't there, so I didn't see. But I would imagine that he did okay. I didn't see anything, that really would be a cause for concern regarding that situation. So I think overall he did well. Based on the completions, I think he was like 15 of 17 in 7-on-7. So again, it's 7-on-7, no pads. I guess it's decent. But I think the overall theme of today feels like the overall theme of today is there's a lot of people that got a lot to prove. It just feels like there's a lot of players on this team that are hitting that point or starting that point in their career where they got a lot of people to prove. I mean, like you got like McGlinchey, who's probably got a chip on his shoulder. You got guys like Trey Lance, who's got a chip on his shoulder. I still think George has a chip on his shoulder. Um, Guys like Fred, Ward, a lot of guys with chips on their shoulder, man. I think I think this team's ready to fight. I think they're tired of the talk, and I think they're ready to put the pads on and let their pads do the talking. So, you know, hopefully we get some of that soon. Uh, but we'll see. Uh, let's see. Any other questions you guys got? Comments, talking points you want to hit on before we get out of here? Anything you want to mention? Okay, I'm looking detail. I see you. I see you detail. I'm looking at the YouTube chat now. Looking at the YouTube chat now. Now I'm not. Back at YouTube. What you got for me? What you got? Let's see. But oh god. Colton McKivitz over no, not Colton McKivitz. Colton damn, I don't remember his name. But still, incorrect. Yes, Nuts was there. Nuts was there. Trey Sermon. Didn't see anything from Trey Sermon. That's probably why I haven't been looking at the YouTube chat because I could see what it's about at the moment. It's been nonstop. But I think ultimately it is what it is. Trey versus Jimmy, Brian Burns revenge game. Ooh, that would be spicy. That would be spicy. That would be legendary. We'll see, man. I mean, what do you guys think Brian Burns is going to be playing? Or not Brian Burns. What do you guys think Jimmy's playing next year? What do you guys think? Let me ask you the questions. Where do you think Jimmy plays next year? Does he get traded? Does he stick around? What are the thoughts? Do we think he stays? Do we think he goes? We got a Panthers fan on YouTube. And we got people saying Carolina on Instagram. Got a Panthers fan on YouTube. You might have to get ready for it. I mean, Sam Darnold, I think, was talking about how he thinks he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I love Sam, but I don't. That's a lie. I don't love Sam. But I appreciate feels like fake confidence. But yeah, you know what it is. I think Sam's done with the Panthers, man. I think they already don't believe in him. So could be a situation where they could use a guy like that. Again. A lot of people have this poor perception of Jimmy. But he's interestingly thought about differently, I think, in league circles. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nope, but I'll block you. Blocked. Win. W's. W's across the board. But anyways, OTAs, we got some good stuff. Oh, Jimmy going to Miami? Could be, maybe. They did. They do got Teddy Bridgewater though, and they gave Teddy Bridgewater um, pretty solid baseline pay, but he has an incentive laden contract. So if Bridgewater plays, he could actually eventually become starting quality paid in that regard. So we'll see. But gonna be interesting to see how it all plays out. But obviously tons of stuff going on today, all over the place, whether football related or non-football related. Obviously been a good day for some, tough day for others. But we will continue to be on alert for all things 49ers, what they're trying to do, what's going on, and all that good stuff. But what do I get at In and Out? Ooh, easy. 3 by 3 animal style, no pickles, fry well, large pink lemonade. Boom. Done. Every time. So good. So good. But anyways, I seen that event that you had, pun. That was cracking. That was cracking. I think Colton McKivitz showed up. Who else showed up? School showed up. Brendel, I think, showed up. You got some 49er people out there. That's dope. That was dope. I imagine the tailgates are going to be litty. Uh if you guys take over Levi's parking lot, that would be legendary. Um but I'm gonna head out, guys. It's been a pleasure. Oh, Warner was out there too. He's an honorary offensive lineman. Definitely how he blocks. Um, but I'm gonna head out, guys. It was cool chatting with you. Again, we'll continue to be talking about this for anyone. Again, I don't go live on Instagram really much that often at all, but we do daily lives over on YouTube. So catch us over there. If you want to discuss, talk 49ers, do all that type of stuff, we are always, we are all, I'm sure you're going to snap that detail. But I appreciate all you guys. I'll catch you on the other side. Peace. All right. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Later.